Okay, we're live. I'm sure you guys, I don't know if there's anybody on YouTube. I've just started using YouTube. So, and it just went up live. Cool. Okay. So a couple more minutes. Well, ready. I see there's a chat. There's nobody looking. I got nobody there. Okay, cool. So, I don't know about cool, but. Got my San Francisco t-shirt. Got 0 people on YouTube. I'm now live. Okay. Oh, well, there's Matt. You're the first one in, dude. Ray, Carlos. Hey, Dave. There's my man from Canada. Hey, I mean Mark Dean. Evening, Matt. Matt Holmes. You saw him last night. Central Pierce, the assistant chief of Central Pierce. Now he is on the big board there. He still takes care of his department. He retired out and he came back. You know, like firefighters, once you leave, you can't leave. You know, you just can't, and nor should you. But I know in San Francisco, which we're talking about tonight, and I don't have anybody from San Francisco on here yet, Mariano, but there was a battalion chief, and he had to be 80. And him and this other guy, not Canada, where are you from? Isn't it? Who? CFD, where are you from? Nathan, is it Nathan? Tulare County firefighters. All right. You guys, I'm from the Central Valley of California. You guys, maybe if you Tulare County, we have the Calaveras County Fire Department, California. Well, I think they're the fire district, and that series is up now, commercial free. So if you go to the battalion.tv, yeah, Nathan, if you go to the battalion.tv, go up to series, go to California. We have 3 series that we're working on bringing you guys out of the 28. Prince George's County, which I think we have a couple shows still missing, but that's up there. Central Pierce, I think we just found show 9 and 12. I think we got 2 more to find. We're almost done with that. And then Calaveras, Prince George's County, and Central Pierce. So those are the 3 series that we've worked the last 4 weeks. I just got my website back 5 weeks ago. I got back 115 of the series. There's still 86 webisodes on Amazon Prime. The distributor has them. I ain't got a dime. That's a whole other story. That's why I'm here, trying to bring in funds to bring the battalion back as a full-on training, searchable website for training. You know, we filmed with 28 departments. We probably have over 1,000 hours of footage. So if you keep in mind, when we're filming with the department, we're filming training. We film maybe 2, 3, 4 hours of training, like with San Francisco throwing ladders. We show about 2 or 3 minutes in a show. So all that training in Washington, D.C., Columbus, Ohio, Tampa, Florida, Central Pierce, Fresno, great training with Fresno. The Fresno series is actually on Amazon Prime. So those series will come back to the battalion in August of next year. By then, we should have the new website going. Keep in mind, guys, that this is part of, we're trying to raise funds. We have a campaign going on Indiegogo. If you go to Indiegogo.com, type in the battalion. We just put the hats up today. So these are pretty cool hats. And I only have one. We don't have a lot of stuff because we were closed for 4 years. We're coming back. We've got cool stuff, but we got the hat. We just put it up today. We've got T-shirts. We've got a bunch of cool stuff. So, and pass the word to other people about what we're doing here. This isn't just for fun. This is a lot of work. We've been working probably 12 to 14 hours a day now for 5 weeks to bring the series back, to bring the website up. Hey, Rich, what's going on, man? Big yell for Rich just came on. I'm really happy about Tulare County firefighters joining. Tulare County, man, I can't talk enough about you going frog gigging out there with my parents and carp fishing out there in the waterways, and had a lot of good times out there camping in Tulare County. So it means a lot when I see guys like that. Steve, welcome, Steve. So tonight we're going to finish up talking about the San Francisco series and the filming of the San Francisco series. That filming started in 2003. I talked about it last night. If you're here last night, you kind of hear the beginning of how we got in. And it took a couple years to get in. There was a guy named J.C. Carvajal. At that time, I was going to a film school. I was taking acting lessons. And I met this guy, J.C. Carvajal, was a San Francisco firefighter, really good guy, lives up in Sonoma County. He got me in. We started filming in 2003. I had money then, so I was working for IBM. I walked away from a $250,000 a year job to go to film school, and then to end up filming the battalion. And the battalion series, made me broke. Over 10 years, it's such a passion because we changed lives, and I could tell more about the changing life. We'll talk about Kentland down the road. That's where the beginning of how we knew we were changing lives. With these 2 young boys who just got off a bus, they were in a home, they turned 18, they found the battalion on the web, and they saw the Kentland series, which was 100% volunteers. These guys actually have bedrooms there. They're there 365 days a year, 24/7. It's a great department. They're really busy at Kentland. And they took these, I answered the door. They said they'd seen this series on Amazon, on the battalion, the series. I didn't tell them who I was. We came in. Tony, the president, was there. Pat was there. Some of the firefighters. It was 4 a.m. We just went to Dunkin' Donuts. We just did this big extrication, which was, saving lives, obviously. And so they came in and they told their story to everybody. Nobody said who I was. I just sat there. And that's when I knew the work I was doing was changing lives. These guys were becoming. Tony Kelleher is now the deputy chief of DC. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I actually spoke with Kenny Crosswhite yesterday. You'll see Kenny Crosswhite. He was the deputy chief of him, along with Dennis Rubin, Chief Rubin at the time, and Mayor Fenty called me up. They heard I was going to Baltimore. They said on the phone line, it was Kenny saying, "Mr. Furtado, you're not going to Baltimore. You're coming to Washington, D.C." And I said, "Who in the fuck is this?" And it was Kenny. I haven't talked to Kenny for 5 or 6 years, but he's back on D.C. right now. He'll be there till the end of the year. He's kind of joining forces to try to help me raise some funds here to bring this. He knows the importance of what's going on here. So anybody that sees Tony Kelleher, send him my best. In fact, I called Kentland today and tried to get a hold of Oleg. I think he's the assistant president, and he didn't call me back. And Oleg I met when I was filming in Washington, D.C. He was a new firefighter on the department at that day, and now running with D.C. and running with Kentland. Boy, that's going to get you the chops to be some of the best firefighters probably in the world. Those guys get so many calls. So aggressive, so aggressive. DC Fire Shields joined. We're just talking about DC, talking about Kentland, talking about Kelleher, talking about Chief Rubin, talking about Kenny Crosswhite, who was the deputy chief, who actually they saw the San Francisco series, and we're still talking about the San Francisco series. But that's how Kenny Crosswhite and Chief Rubin, with the Association of Mayor Fenty, they changed the life of the battalion. It went from San Francisco, possibly going to Baltimore. When I went to D.C., it's a great story, but Kenny will be on. Kenny will either be on tomorrow night. We're going to take off Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, but if he's not here tomorrow night, Kenny will be on next week, and we'll be talking about D.C. I'm hoping to get someone from Kentland on, because we filmed in San Francisco, then we filmed in D.C. I got thrown out of Washington, D.C. by a safety officer. That's going to be a story we're going to tell with Kenny. So Kentland came and picked me up. I was at Station 26 with Lieutenant Duck. If any of you guys know Lieutenant Duck, guy's a great firefighter. Lieutenant Duck, it's all about training. That's what I'm all about. That's what we're doing. You know, these DC trained me. That was in the very beginning. From driving the tiller to driving the engine. In fact, there's a video up of me training there, getting my DC helmet's right back here. So for you DC guys, where's DC guys at? I'm filming with Fresno Fire Department. I wear this helmet. I film with Columbus, Ohio. I wear this helmet. I always wear their bunker gear, but I always bring the helmet that's most dearest to my heart, right? I mean, and that's just the truth. So, so that was after San Francisco. We went to DC. That changed everything. Then I got thrown out. Went to Kentland. They came to pick me up. I've been filming 24/7 for 4 or 5 days. I could barely walk. Lieutenant Duck let me go into his room so I could be peace and quiet. I slept there for a day before before Kentland came and picked me up, and I started filming with Kentland. Maine LAC training. Dude, you were here last night. You're here back again. Thank you so much. You guys pass the word. This is all about raising the funds to take those thousands of hours of footage. And I'm going to explain really quickly what we're trying to do. Here's a case in point. North American Vehicle Rescue Challenge. Some of the best extrication teams in the world, including from Central Pierce. If you watch Central Pierce, you're going to see Jeff Pugh. And if you go to my website now, it's going to show you kind of an example of what we're trying to do. It shows Jeff Pugh and his crew in a competition in Canada, some of the best in the world. And then we're riding with the battalion chief, and we arrive on scene of a rollover. These guys had, I don't know what kind of car it was, but it looked like a cigar tuna can. And that's another case in point. We film for probably an hour and a half from beginning to end, but we only show PXT. That's it. Jeff Pugh, PXT. If you guys are looking for some of the best training in the world, Jeff Pugh and his team go around the United States and around the world and training. So go to PXT. I don't know if it's pxt.com, but if you guys are looking for great extrication, and that's what we're going to bring in. Randy Smits, who produced the big training up in Calgary, Alberta. Another case in point, we filmed for 4 hours of a tanker lift, 40-foot tanker filled with liquids, roll over, and from the very first airbag to each piece of cribbing and how they brought it up carefully, not moving the liquid inside of it. 4 hours of training. So you watch that 4 hours of training, you're going to learn how to be able to use that cribbing and use those airbags to carefully and safely do a lift. and that's a tanker lift. So instead of seeing 3 minutes in a show, you're going to see 4 hours. And that's what we're doing with everything from DC, Columbus, Ohio, Tampa, Florida. Some great stuff with those guys. Great filming with them. San Francisco. So if you go to any of the websites, I just put up the promo for San Francisco. If you haven't seen the San Francisco series, it will be back next year. Check out the promo. That's where I cut my teeth. I had big budget. We had lots and lots of cameramen. We did a training on Treasure Island, and I had 7 camera guys. We had guys up on the top of the building. We had people inside. And so we're going to be bringing that back. But what we're doing with San Francisco, because we filmed it in standard definition, what we call SD back in the old days. Now we can take what was filmed. If you come back, will we eventually film with new departments? Yes, Tyler. Once we get going on getting the channel set up, because what's going to be able to do, you'll be able to go to the channel, type in extrication, and every department that we film extrication with, and all the stuff up in Canada will all be there. So how to use a nozzle, pulling line, so you'll be able to see all the training, and then within that series, you're going to see that actually being done, an extrication being done, pulling lines, running the pump panel, just everything that's going on with that. So back to filming. I've been invited already to go to some places up in Kansas. I'm trying to get back in possibly with DC. I may be talking to Chief Rubin, who's the chief of Kansas City. I want to go to Arizona. So we are going to bring back new series. You should do a documentary on how you got started with the idea of filming and creating your series. I would love to do that. Once again, it's about money. Here's the truth, guys. In 2015, I'm filming with the Fresno Fire Department. I filmed that series by myself, 24 hours a day for 2 to 3 weeks at a time for 141 days. While I was filming there, they found cancer in my esophagus. I had to go in for a procedure. 30 days later, I had to go back again. 60 days later, I had to go back again. 3 months later, I had to go back again. A year later, I had to go back again. And I'm still doing those every 3 years. So I don't have cancer. I'm clear. I work out. I eat healthy. But I spent every dime I had to produce that series because I thought I was going to die. Okay? You come to Arizona and I'll help you like in Fresno. Dude, absolutely. And part of GoFundMe, if you check it out, you can make a donation and be part of the production. In fact, for people who have enough money, there's 2 executive producer spots that you'll be with me filming, sitting at the table, the whole deal, right? I mean, it's the whole deal. So, and you get credits on the show. You'll sit with the dinner. You'll be doing ride-alongs with the crew. You'll be sitting at the table with the crew having dinner. But anyway, so that's what I went through with Fresno. I kept going. Our last series with Harrisburg was in 2017. I licensed my library to a distributor in New York who still owns it. 5 weeks ago, I got my website back and the 150 webisodes that are on there. It's taken us 4 weeks just to put together what's on the website now, which is Central Pierce, Calaveras, and Prince George's County. So we've got hundreds of hours, and I'm not going to take you around, but I have 92 hard drives. And what happened is while I was filming, the editors would be working on shows. We didn't have any funding. That's why fire departments had to pay for my food. Some of them paid for my airfare. I didn't make any money while I was doing it, but because I have a passion for the work that I do, I just don't put between cooking moose or salmon like I did in Fresno. Yeah, exactly. So back to San Francisco. So a couple of things. J.C. Carvajal and his daughter. His daughter was going to school. If you watch San Francisco, you're to see him and his daughter. You're to see his daughter going to school to become a firefighter. And I'm going to go to About the Job. We are about the job. We're not about. If you watch please watch the San Francisco series because promo. That promo is a very famous. This guy was in Full Metal Jacket. Dorian Harewood, a good friend of mine. You'll see him as a spokesperson back then, and he tells it like it is. This series is not about the big changing the beast. Sometimes it's being there holding the victim's hand. And every one of you first responders should be proud of being there with taking care of people, because it's not just a big fire. They're great, but it's also tradition. And I told the story last night. I'm going to tell it again. Filming in Tampa, Florida, I was at Station 9. A very young captain. He just became a captain at at the station. It had 2 engines. That was it. Very tiny, very old, very traditional. And I was talking to him, and he said, well, my father was a captain here at this station. I said, is your father still alive? He goes, yeah. I go, call him up. Let's see if we can get him down here. So that young man called his father. He came down. If you watch Tampa, which is actually Tampa series is on Amazon Prime as well. Once again, you're to say, oh, he's on Amazon Prime. 4 years they've had it. They've had my series. I haven't made a dime. If I had made money, I wouldn't be asking for people to help me. We need the help. If you want this to happen, please tell your friends. Please go to Indiegogo. Donate $5. We have 9,900 battalion members. And we've sent an email to all of them. And not one of them have donated a dime. If all 9,900, and we had 19,000, but over 4 years, there was nothing going on. So even after 4 years of no new shows, nothing happening, half the shows missing, we still had 9,900, and not one of them have given $5. If every one of them gave $5, we could do this with our website, and we could get sponsors and go back and start filming new series again. I'd love to go and film with Chief Rubin with Kansas City. I'd love to be able to go back to DC because a lot of the guys in DC, the older guys have retired out. But the younger guys like at Station 10, some of these guys are captains, they're lieutenants, they're in big positions. They went from crazy guys to very well-respected, very talented firefighters. And so I'd like to go back there. I'd like to go to Arizona. But once again, I'm doing this every night and working all day. I start at 6 o'clock in the morning, sending out emails one at a time, taking the videos and editing them down, posting those of each series. I'm not even an editor, but I've had to learn to be one, just like filming back to San Francisco. So when I did San Francisco, I had no idea what I was doing at all. I had a great crew. In fact, one of them was a guy named Michael Santi. Michael Santi I met, he was a cameraman in San Francisco on Nash Bridges. I was working as an extra on Nash Bridges. If you watch that show, you'll probably see me. My hair is certainly not gray there. Playing a detective, no lines, just walking around like a lunatic. And so I hired Michael Santi to film with me. And him and other camera guys in San Francisco. I had a great crew. We started filming there. I had no idea what I was doing, but I remember I was at Station 7. I wish Mariano was here. He's from Station 7. That's where I met him. He was on last night, or the first night we did this. At Station 7, there was this guy named Jay. He was one of the rescue guys. Really a cool dude. He took this Ford Econoline van, probably a 67, and put a Dodge Hemi in it with like a 4-speed transmission. Had Indy tires in the back. It was like at almost not a California rake, but a regular rake. That van was badass. Anyway, he was the very first interview. I didn't know what I was doing. Michael did the lighting. Michael put the wireless on the guy. I stood there and watched this happen. Okay, I didn't become a director until I started filming in Washington, D.C. and started running out of money, because when we started filming in D.C., I think it was 2008, I had funding. But we ran out because I paid expensive guys to do a great job. It's a great series there in Washington, D.C. Kramer, what's up? Wayne's, what's going on? Washington, D.C. So back to San Francisco. So Michael Santi, who was a great cameraman, did that interview. He did the lighting. I remember the lighting there's like a mannequin, as I remember. Now, this was 2003, guys. I'm 72 years old. But I can remember there's a little teeny bay off to the side there at Station 7. Oh, here's a great story at Station 7. Brand new filming. We'd filmed for 2 or 3, 5 days maybe. I think I was at the training center. Maybe that was kind of it. And Station 11 with Phil Lianio, and they had me go to the Mission District, Station 7 in the Mission District. We pull up. I get my camera out and walk in. This guy jumps off the truck and starts screaming at me. Get the fuck out of this gas station. No cameras here. I don't know who the fuck you are, but get out of here. You can't come in here and film. What are you doing? I mean, the guy was like in my face, man. So I went back to my car, and I didn't even call anybody. I had no idea what to do in that situation. And in about 10 minutes, that guy had been taken away from that station. Somebody else brought in, and that was really the beginning of filming with that station. We're in the Mission District. We did such cool stuff. We used to cruise. I forgot the street there in San Francisco, but we'd be cruising for chicks, ringing the bell, and we were like lowriders with Pimp My Ride shades and shit with our arms out the window. It was crazy. So a lot of cool stuff happened in San Francisco. Oh, when we bring back the San Francisco series, I forgot the captain's name. He's now a battalion chief. He might have retired out. Maybe Palmer. No, because Palmer's in Fresno. I remember something like that. Anyway, this guy had a water leak. We showed up, and this guy goes, "What the fuck are you doing calling us? Call a fucking plumber." I mean, that was the beginning of going like, wow, there's a little bit of a firefighter rage going on there. The guy called 911 for a water leak. It was like where the spigot is coming out of the plastic pipe had been gashed a little bit. Oh my God. It's like frequent flyers in DC. I've never seen so many frequent flyers I've seen in DC, but back to San Francisco. So, things have changed a lot since those days, particularly with Google Maps and the different ways of communications. And, I'm going to go back to DC. DC, I don't know if they do it now, but hopefully they do. I was in Engine 10, and I forgot the wagon, the engineer, the chauffeur, what they call him, I think the chauffeur in DC. Somebody could do that. And this guy had been at Station 10 for 10 years. And every day when he came in, they have these cards that say where all the hydrants are through the first two. It's like what we used to do for movies. They use it for, and every day, the engine, the chauffeurs, the drivers of the engine of the truck come in, they check their first two. They never get lost. They're so busy. They're always always training, even or not training. Going back to training, Lieutenant Craig Duck. God, do I have, what a great guy. Great man. So it's snowing outside. So they did some outside training, which you'll see in the show. If you go see the DC series on Amazon, you'll see this training. And what they did is we were doing some cool training at an apartment. I was actually doing some trying to do breaching the wall with a sledgehammer. We were doing ventilation on the roof. But anyway, it was snowing, and he did two things that day that I thought were badass. First thing is everybody went down and played basketball. Great team sport. I mean, it was like, it was a truck against the engine with the ambo drivers, the ambo driver on one side and the paramedic on the other side. But these guys played basketball first thing in the morning. We went back and had lunch. Now, after lunch, he has one of the firefighters go hide somewhere with his SCBA going off, running out of air. And they had to find him. After that, they did ladder raises. So they're taking a ladder. And this was really cool. It's like a team sport. They take the truck, they took both the engine and the truck and put it outside and the ambo. So the whole area was wide open. And they'd take aluminum ladders. I think it was a 30-footer with 4 ropes, 4 people. Craig is a great brother. Craig is phenomenal. Craig, in fact, we're going to talk about Craig Duck. But let me talk about this with Craig Duck. So what he did, they had a 30-foot ladder. They had 4 ropes, two on one side, 2 on the other, with people holding the ropes. And you had to climb up to the top and climb down the other side. So it's all about trust. They had to trust that those guys holding the ropes supported them when they're doing that in that ladder, right? Doing that. So even when you couldn't go out and do training, he was doing training every day. Not only training, but team sports with everybody. I mean, every time Lieutenant Duck was on, there was training going on. Every day he was on. When you watch the DC series, like I said, it's on Amazon Prime, watch it. You'll see the flashover box, and you'll see Lieutenant Duck doing a class. So keep this in mind. We filmed probably 4 or 5 hours with Lieutenant Duck and all the people that were there doing the flashover box, and he did an hour training in the classroom. So we had 2 cameras in the classroom. So when we bring back the battalion, if we can get enough donations to bring the series back the way that we want to bring it back as a training series, and it's going to be phenomenal. That whole thing will be in its entirety. So the entire classroom with everything on the board will be there from the very beginning of putting on the bunker gear, getting ready, and going inside. And you'll hear me going, ooh. The first time in the flashover box, I didn't want to leave. It's just, it's unbelievable. You can, it's a really great learning thing why you don't stand up, why you get down on your knees, and why you stay low because of that heat and what's going on. DF politics has changed a lot since then, but they still are a great bunch of firefighters. Well, politics have changed everything. Lack of funding has changed everything, and that's what I'm trying to do with the battalion and the training. Even paid departments, career fire departments don't have the money for training. And there's some states where 4 or 5 departments have to get together and all put money in to go somewhere and do training. Not yet. I'm working for the Navy in Southern California. I'm where the Blue Angels train. That's in San Diego, right? Are you in San Diego, dude? My brother-in-law's down there. I film with the San Diego Fire Department. I'm in Las Vegas, melting fireman. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm about 5 hours away from you. So I'll talk more about Lieutenant Duck. If you guys know Lieutenant Duck, have him get a hold of me. I had his old email. I tried to email him today, and it bounced. And so the emails I have, some of them are 10, 15 years old. So that's how I found Kenny, though, was with that. So I'd like to get Lieutenant Duck on, and we could show some of the training. I could post some of the training up, and then we could talk about it with them and filming. There's stuff that I did in DC. I've talked to Kenny. I don't want to talk about it unless Kenny Crosswhite is here, because I told him some of the stories and he said they were okay to tell. But stuff happened to me like you would do to any probie. I've been set on fire. I've been slimed. My clothes has been frozen. My boots have been stuck in water. It goes on and on and on. Everybody trying to see if I was going to call the chief, if I was going to be a snitch, or who I was. I proved him. I proved a Duck King. At Duck Craig Duck. I can't write that fast enough. How do I even get a Duck? I need his email, not a at Duck Craig. I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm technical in some ways, guys, but all this stuff that I'm doing now, I have no idea. I'm actually on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube right now. There's nobody there, but I'm still trying to do multiples. I want to be able to do, maybe next week I'll be able to do everything at the same time. So right now we're trying to line up people with each department. Like I said, I've got Matt from Central Pierce coming back. Central Pierce is up. So what I'm going to try to do is get everybody to go watch Central Pierce, and then you can all come on and talk to him about some of the stuff that you see in his show. Same thing with Kenny, but you're going to have to go to Amazon to see that. I'm trying to get Oleg, or if somebody could get a hold of Tony in Washington D.C. I would like to bring Tony Kelleher on. Great chief, great guy. I had some great times with him. I filmed, I got up really early in the morning. I have his email. Well, here's my email is Thule, T-U-L-E, Fog, F-O-G, ThuleFog @gmail.com. So give my, anybody from these departments, you guys are all out there. If you work with a department I haven't filmed, go talk to your chief or talk to the PIO. And I'm trying to look now, so when we do get this going, but here's guys, I've been going for 2 weeks. I need $48,000 to do this first part of it. I've got $490. So I'm kind of bummed out. I'm not feeling the love. I need your guys' help. I can't do it all by myself. Can you see I'm an old guy? San Francisco, anything. I talked about the water leak. I talked about J.C. Carville Hall. Yesterday I talked about the tower. We talked about some of the other stuff going on there in San Francisco. My notes are here now for PG County and for DC. So, So what's I going to talk about? So Chief Cross, Deputy Chief Crosswhite, maybe on tomorrow night, if not next week. I know your email, David. Well, that's good. But I gave my email for the people who don't know my email. And if you're in DC and you know Tony Kelleher, two people I'd like to talk to Tony, and I'd like to talk to Craig Duck. So anybody who knows those guys, or departments like Arizona, right? I would like to go film in Memphis, Tennessee. We just got a call right after we closed down in 2017 because basically we ran out of money completely. I mean, I was broke. I thought I was going to die from cancer. I didn't. I'm still here, right? So I'm here for a reason. I don't know who's religious out there, but who's ever running this show has me here for the work that I'm doing. But I need your guys' help. I don't know how many guys, there's maybe 30 of you watching right now. So we need to build this up. So please email your friends, tell your friends in your department. We want to discuss what's going on. I want you to look at the shows that are up there and see what we're going to do with all this training. It's really important. And I'm focused on the United States, guys. The biggest problem, we always had issues with people and companies supporting digital advertising on the series. Yeah. Well, Melting Fireman, this is me talking about the series and not you. Okay? So I just want to put that out there. Whatever was going on with the series is something that I'm sharing. If I ask you to share, like Lieutenant Duck and these guys, then you're going to come on and share. But that's kind of how in regards to the series and what went on. I don't want to talk about Fresno. I only want to talk about San Francisco right now. Pretty soon we'll be talking about Washington, D.C. Then we'll be talking about Kentland. After that, we'll start going to Columbus, Ohio, Tampa, Florida. But I want to stay on subject, okay? So that's why I'm trying to raise funds right now, because I want to bring it to you commercial free. But it's going to cost just the software to make it so you can do searching, optimization of the website is like $18,000 to take all the shows and all that information. That's going to probably take 2 months so that you can go there and search for a nozzle, search for a certain kind of line, search for a panel. Like if you're working on a Pierce, then that information is going to be about a Pierce panel. If you're working on a KME, it's going to be a KME panel. We have all that information to put out there, right? So request to be in your live video. Well, yes. So Tulefog, TULEFOG @gmail. Please contact me if you want to be on the show. Okay. And if you want to talk about your department, if you want to talk about ideas that you have, but this is really an invitation situation, unless you want to talk about the subject matters that I'm talking about. So I'm not trying to be a control freak here, guys, but there's some things that people may know that I may not want people to know. So it's kind of like within my lane of what I'm doing. I want to make sure I give you guys the correct information, but not too much of the bad stuff. A lot of things happen along the way, right? Like I got kicked out of Washington, D.C., but I'm not going to talk about that till Kenny's here. When Kenny Crosswhite is here, we'll talk about what happened in D.C. When I get the people from Kentland here, we'll talk about what happened in Kentland. When we talk about Prince George's County, we're going to have Mark Brady, who's the PIO, who I worked with for years there. He's still a very good friend of mine, Mark Brady. So I'm going to be bringing on people. And who started this was Matt Holmes. Matt came on last night, didn't even know, he pushed the button, and he showed up. So now we know we have the technology to do that, because I didn't know that, right? I honestly didn't know that. Okay, sent a request to be on your live video. Okay, great. That's what I need. That way we can get on the phone or get on a Zoom call and kind of meet and kind of prepare. I'm flying by the seat of my pants because 3 days ago I turned my phone on, I pushed live, and all of a sudden I was live. So I didn't even know I was going to do this, guys. I'm trying to prepare. I'm writing notes, but if you look at it, I have no clue what I write. I know if you guys take good notes. You firefighters, like police officers, man, their printing is like perfect. I mean, it's like perfect, right? So yeah. Michael, go Zoom. What department are you from? We've got about 5 more minutes. I'm basically trying to do a 30-minute show because they keep talking for 30 minutes. Oh, it's okay. My handwriting is not the best as well. Dude, I can't even read my own stuff. If you guys have bad handwriting, you can read it, then you're like a few steps ahead of me. And I hate to bring up crazy stuff, but why I'm a lunatic, I have ADHD. I don't know if anybody's got that. And people go, how do you film 24 hours a day? What are you on? I'm on what God gave me, which is hypertension. If you can't tell, 72, I'm this hyper. I'm still playing drums. In fact, I've been working out 5 days a week. I'm in better shape now. I'm at the same weight I was in high school wrestling. So anyway, Get a hold of me if you know Craig Duck, and all the departments like Olathe, Kansas. I got to get a hold of that guy named Tom who brought me into that show. I just sent the email to Chief David Whiting with the Columbus, Ohio. I'm talking to Sue, who was with me when I was she's with Tampa. She retired out. Some of these people retired out. And so each department, I'm going to try to get a hold of Randy Smith to talk about the North American Vehicle Rescue Challenge. I'm going to get a hold of Jeff Pugh from Central Pierce, who you're going to see in the Central Pierce show, who is the team leader for his extrication team, PXT. So I want to bring on people that are actually in the show so they can talk about what it was like with me filming with them and what their department got from it. Like some departments used our series for bringing in more firefighters. You know, I forgot what that's called. My mind's like a spin, right? I'm trying to think about stuff. So when you're bringing in other firefighters. So yes. So our series was used for a lot of different things. That's why I want Chief Crosswhite to come on to talk about why they called me. Why they said, you're not going to Baltimore, Maryland, you're coming to Washington, D.C. Recruitment, that's what it's called. Thank you, Michael. Recruitment, exactly right. So some departments, I use it for recruitment. And they still are. What was it in Colorado? Cortez, Colorado, which will be another series that will be coming back. Some great training there. They did some training for SCBAs. It was some Scott SCBAs going against, I forgot the other brand with the bubble. They have the bubble helmet. More of a bubble a lens. But some great training with that as well. View request. Okay, I'm going to view request. Now I'm not going to go right now. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. Thank you for your service. I appreciate anything you could do to pass the word out. And I'm sorry if I seem like I'm kind of mean, but this is kind of new, and I want to kind of learn to stay on point, particularly when I bring in people like Crosswhite and some of these other people. I don't want to be rambling on. I'm rambling tonight because I'm just trying to keep things going, right? I'm very what they call transparent. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I live with honesty, integrity, and compassion. And even though all the things I've gone through, I'm still coming back to do this. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I've never did a funding before. I have no idea what I'm doing. But go to Indiegogo.com, type in The Battalion to find the series. You'll see all the cool stuff. We're going to be doing shout outs. I think it's $20, and I'll do a shout out to you live. The shout outs will start when we'll be doing YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all at the same time. Hopefully by next week. So I'll start doing shout outs across all platforms for a donation. $5 donation, I'll probably send you an email. Because no matter I don't have $1, but $5 is the least you can do. I think $10 or $20, you can get a hat. We got some of these are left. Some of these are pretty cool. These are the crew shirts. We filmed the World Police Games in New York. These are crew shirts. They're going to be limited with the battalion on the back. We also have some other ones that are, but everything we have is old. Also, if you guys any of you are graphic designers, I ain't got no money to pay you, but everybody, if you do a design and we make a shirt out of it, we'll figure out something, okay? Because hopefully we're going to get some funding to make this work. I only have got 5 weeks left. That's what I've got left, 5 weeks. So, and we got Christmas holidays, we got New Year's holidays. The cool thing is everybody home, but I need you guys to reach out. It's really important you reach out and tell people to come and watch the show. Tell them to donate $10. It's called the 1 in 20, guys. Every one person knows 20 people that they can say something good about you or bad about you. As a salesman, that's a rule. So no matter who you talk to, you're always courteous. You're always respectful. My wife just joined. That's crazy stuff. Says, Marnie kids, you guys, that's my wife. That's a whole nother story. So, and to get her support is a big deal. So go to Indiegogo.com, put in the battalion, see all the stuff that we're giving away for donations. For $5, I will send you an email. I'll be signing posters. I'll be signing T-shirts once we can get the word out of what's going on. So, guys, it's 5:41. My wife's on. We're gonna go out to dinner and drive around and see the houses and everything, all the decorations tonight. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've been trying to keep it to 30 minutes, but when I see new people come on, so I want to make sure that I at least say hello to the new people that are coming on. So once again, you guys, thank all of you for your time. If you don't come back tomorrow night will be the last one. We won't be here Christmas Eve. We won't be here on Christmas Day, but we'll be getting back after that. We're going to start bringing back a lot of people. I just got to find them. Once again, if you know Lieutenant Duck, if you know Tony Kelleher, or any of the guys that you've seen in the DC, Sean Griffin. I should get a hold of Sean Griffin. Yeah, I should get a hold of Griff. I'll have to find his email. Because I want them to talk about what it was like with us filming with them. And, you know, Engine 10 changed my life. They were the busiest station in the nation at the time, running 30, 40 calls. Those guys, the next shift would come in early. So the guys that were working all night could go to sleep and get a couple hours sleep so they wouldn't get an auto accident going home after their shift. Because they work so hard. I mean, not that everybody doesn't work hard in DC. I film with 5 or 6 different stations. The Big House, I think it's 4-6 engine, truck 4, engine 6. I don't know if anyone's from DC. Truck 4, engine 6 at the Big House. Anybody got me on that? Okay. Anyway, I filmed a lot of the DC series when I ran out of money by myself. I filmed the Kentland series mostly by myself. If you watch the Fresno series, that the Melting Fireman came and filmed for a couple days, but out of 141 days, I filmed probably 139 of them by myself. So that's my dedication to the fire service. Once again, I appreciate you guys. Email me, tell me what I'm doing if you think I'm a lunatic, because I think I'm a lunatic. Tell me some of the things you may want to talk about. If you want to come on, then let's talk about what you're going to talk about with your department, even if we haven't filmed with your department. If what you bring on is pertinent in regards to training, and how training has been or training is now. The politics are different. You know, probies don't get probied anymore. Flow and Vent. Hey, Flow and Vent, what's up? Thank you for joining. You are coming at the end of the show. They're normally 30 minutes. I'm at 43 minutes right now. But I'll be back tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. I'll be off for 2 days, but I'll be back on the day after Christmas and every day at least through January 15th. We really got to wrap this up, guys. So thank you once again for your time. Thank you for your commitment to the fire service. Thank you for what you do. And as they say, train like your life depends on it, because it does. Be safe.